and welcome back to another day of Flame Fatale, an all-women online speedrunning event presented by Frame Fatale and GDQ Hotfix. I am kungfufruitcup. Hello, here with you all again today. And we are benefiting Malala Fund. Just as a reminder, before we get into the runs today, wanted to talk about Malala Fund and I'm joined by another wonderful person working with Malala Fund. So we're going to get into a fun conversation about what she does and all of that. So Malala Fund is, they advocate for resources and policy changes needed to give all girls a secondary education. They also invest in local education activists and amplifies the voices of girls fighting for change. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to malala.org. So just some amazing things going on with Malala Fund. And today I am joined by Maira Martins. And I know, just like, I was like trying so hard to make sure that I get the pronunciation right because I think it's awesome. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you. And pronounced perfectly.
You know, we always got to try. That's just something I've always tried to do is like get pronunciations right. Like I always double check. And anyway, well, it's lovely to have you here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what you do. So Maira is a in-country representative from Brazil. So she lives in Brazil, like she's from Brazil. And I'm sure that means a lot to you working there with the champions and everything. So I wanted to ask a little bit about like what goes on for you in Brazil.
Hi. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you. I am, as you know, as you have mentioned, I am Brazilian. I am the in-country representative of Malala Fund here in Brazil for 3 years. So I have been here working since the beginning, when Malala came to Brazil and we started the first projects and work here. And here in Brazil, we have been investing in the education activists here, building this network. And my role is to identify them, to connect with them, to start building this network of education activists to advance girls' education. So I am this liaison between Malala Fund and the organizations here, the girls and social movements.
Awesome. So what kind of organizations do you tend to work with? Like what's going on? What's kind of like involved with these organizations right now?
Well, we seek organizations that work with education, gender and girls' rights, and also children and youth rights. Since here in Brazil, girls' education is like a cross-cutting issue. So all of this, different organizations that are on this field, most of them are NGOs, non-profit organizations, but also we work with social movements. For example, women's movements and that, try to defend women's rights and girls' rights, for example. So those are the type of organizations that we are engaging, and also networks, a collective of different organizations that get together under the same goal and mission and values.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, it's great to have like a diversity of places that you go to and things that you can connect with, which is awesome. So with Malala Fund in general, like what inspired you to join that 3 years ago?
Oh, well, I have been always inspired by contributing and working for social change. So since I was in college, when I started like learning about indigenous people, I am a sociologist. So learning about indigenous people and not how rural communities were like struggling for the rights to land and all about, feminists and gender. So I have always worked with NGOs and communities and trying to contribute to projects and, local development projects and, public policies monitoring. So when these opportunities appear, when I saw, the call for the post, it was like amazing opportunity, to be able to be part of this organization. And because I'm very, really like passionate and inspired by, activists and people that are fighting for change, the world like Malala. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's awesome to like it's great to see people who are like so motivated to jump on board and like be a part of this change. I think it's wonderful. With this, like what would you say then since you've joined would be maybe your biggest challenge you had to face?
In my work in Malala Fund, I think um, it's a challenge, but at the same time, it's the most interesting part of my work is to really like connect and make people connect with each other and build this network. This is super inspiring, but at the same time challenging because organizations are so busy and there's so much to do. And with the COVID, I think the COVID was the most challenging phase that I have been faced because it changed so much our way of working, and organizations got so overloaded with the burden of having to deal with this situation. So but at the same time it's super like exciting and challenging to be with them and try to build this network of activists.
Right, for sure. Like, how do you think, like, what do you think was the biggest change that occurred, like, when COVID hit? Like, what kinds of things have you had to adjust in terms of, I'm sure there's like online communication or things like that. Like, what's been the biggest thing that's adjusted for you?
For me, I think that I used to travel a lot to visit the projects, to engage with the organizations. Most of our work is in the northeast of Brazil, and some projects are in the countryside, like rural areas with indigenous and quilombolas communities. So this is something that I couldn't do, like to really be with them in person, to talk with the girls in person. We know that it makes a lot of difference, like to really be with people. But I think that the most like the biggest challenges I think was for the ones that are working directly in the schools with the girls, with the local policymakers, because with the school closures and all the precautions and all the changes in the work environment, it was like a challenge how to adapt to this new format of engagement.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It's definitely it's just tough for everybody, and like getting that personal close connection is just really important for like for bonding, for being more open, for getting those social cues, like for there's all kinds of things that go into that. So I understand why that's so hard. But among that and among like these last 3 years for you, on kind of the other side of things, would you say that there's something that's been like particularly powerful that's happened for you, like some kind of experience that you really hold on to?
There are several. Uh, there are several experiences and achievement that we could accomplish here that are not only mine. It's like the work that I have been doing together with all this amazing education champion network. One of the biggest accomplishment and moments were the public hearing that we hold in the Congress to advocate for the approval of a fund for education in Brazil. So we, the Education Champions, and we organized this, event, and we brought girls from indigenous communities and quilombolas communities from Brazil, and the girls speak up for, the Senate hearing. So it was a really powerful moment that still today have impacts and developments.
That's
This
awesome.
is one example. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's really cool to be able to like source that much and I don't know. I mean, if you have more stories, feel free to share. Like we have the time. It's up to you.
Yeah. No, so it's great. I think now we are starting, since we've been working 3 years here, and our main priority is to work with organizations that are advocating for girls' education at national, state level, and local level, especially the most vulnerable girls, Black, indigenous girls, and quilombola girls. Quilombolas are the ones from rural communities, from descendants of slaves, so very traditional communities. So now we are starting to see some results of this work. For example, one of great project that was to approve a law, municipal law, to guarantee quilombolas education. So, and this project, like 2 years of project where our champion Rogério, the activist, he was working with the communities. It has the girls' participation, all this community mobilization. So they wrote a proposal of the law, and they managed to, to present to the chamber, to the mayor, and to approve that. So now we are set to see, during these 3 years, some of these great achievements of the work and all of this connection between the different levels of the work, like the national and local level, to influence to improve the laws and conditions for girls' education.
That's amazing. Wow. Like just being able to influence that kind of change is so huge. And I'm sure it's been like, and it's great to, again, like see those results, because unfortunately, sometimes things like that take time. So getting to the other side of that and seeing things come through for you must be like really amazing. So before I let you go, I am curious about, I know that there are some assembly stories. So for those who are unfamiliar, they have like a kind of like newsletter style publication where they enhance these stories of all these different girls and women across the world who are doing amazing things. So is there any assembly story that you keep in mind that like sticks out to you?
There are several, but I'm gonna talk just a couple of Brazil, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, we have a great article about this event that I mentioned. It's an article with several great pictures about the Indígenas and Quilombola girls during this event at the Congress. So this is a great article in the Assembly. Recently, there's another great article where I think she's 17 years old girl. She talks how in the schools the teachers do not teach about women role in history. So just featuring like the men's achievement and how it's important to have this reference and names of important women that are making the difference in the history and how we should learn about that. And I think this is very powerful to think about how women are invisible in our, when we are studying. So, and to build this reference for young girls. So those are the ones that came up to my mind that I would like to share.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Just like getting more light shed on, on the past. I think it's good to be able to have information like that. Like we can reflect on it and grow from that, and like make sure that we are still fighting for that change so that we don't feel invisible. So I think that that's great. Yeah, that's a really, really good example. And do you play any games yourself?
Oh, well, I have always been the kind of person that likes to watch other people playing. Like when I was a kid, my sister, she plays a lot, and I was like just sitting beside her watching.
Uh-huh.
But nowadays, like my husband, he plays a lot. He really enjoy, and we plays with our kid. We play Mario Kart with her, with my 5-year-old kid. We play Mario Kart, and I had played some games, not so fast as you, probably, not at all. The last game that I played that I liked very much was that one, Monument Valley. Do you know this one?
I have heard of that.
But this is more like relaxed. It's a different style. but I enjoy. I'm not a gamer, but I enjoy.
That's okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. I think it's fun to ask because like everybody actually that I've talked to has different experiences in gaming. And you know what? If it seems like you're doing something that's keeping you very busy, but it's very good for your environment and for the community. So I'd say like if that's where your focus is, that's totally good. But yeah, like your work is incredible, and I love hearing about everybody's stories. So this has been great. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it. And
thank you so much for this opportunity, for all of you that are going to support us. And thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's wonderful to have you. Working with Malala Fund has been fantastic. And we have a whole list of wonderful games coming up today. So hopefully everybody here who's watching, you got to hear some wonderful information here from Maira and her experiences. And now we get to go watch some amazing runs, keep supporting Malala Fund. You all are doing great. It's been a fantastic week so far, and we will see you again soon. So thank you all very much. I am Kung Fu, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flame Fatale's 2021 Powered by Women and Benefiting Malala Fund. I am Corarium, and I will be your host for this afternoon. We have a wonderful day of speedrunning ahead of us and some amazing incentives going on throughout the day. We have a couple of incentives open right now. For instance, we have a good ending versus bad ending incentive. You get to choose between the good ending and bad ending categories for the Tails Glitchless run of Sonic 2, as well as a incentive to make Risuru wear a pair of Knuckles gloves during the Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut Big the Cat run. That incentive is set at $2,500, and we're just under $700 away from reaching that incentive. So if we could get some donations in, I personally would love to see that that incentive met. But like most speedrunning, let's not waste any time, and I am happy to pass off our first run of the day, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, any percent, no wrong warp, out of bounds with Astronomus. So whenever you're ready, take it away, Astra.